Hi everyone, my name is Fyodor and you are on Xfounders channel. Xfounders is a bootcamp for Web3 startups where ambitious founders learn, share experience, and help each other implement Web3 projects. More information about Xfounders in the description. Our guest is Matthew, Senior Business Development Associate at Ava Lab. Today, together with Matt, we will talk about Avalanche ecosystem. Hey Matt, nice to meet you here. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, nice to meet you here.
Yeah. The first question, can you share a little bit about yourself and your experience?
Yeah, so my name is Matt Schmenk. Been here at Ava Labs for about a year and a half. Um, as my title suggests, I'm in business development. I started off focused on DeFi and institutional and capital markets, but since then have expanded my role into being more of a generalist in nature. And so I actually lead our external data efforts in terms of integrations and reporting, as well as help quite a bit with like infra tooling and security projects. But uh, before joining Avalabs, I was in traditional finance for about a year and a half directly out of undergrad. And I have a little bit of programming experience in a few languages, as well as I've taken a few Solidity courses, just trying to better familiarize myself with smart contracts in general. Um, Not super technical by nature. Also, I'm on level 3 of the CFA, so it's a little bit about me.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you, thank you. It's great that you have a big tech experience because it's impossible to go deeper if you don't know the this part of blockchains. Yeah, that's right. Can you share your thoughts about what direction is the Avalab ecosystem right now focusing on? Yeah, what is the main focus right now? Is it tier one companies? Is it like early stage? Maybe you can uh, explain more about yeah, some plans here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think our general vision or slogan that most people point to is it's on our website, and it's we want to
Mhm.
digitize all of the world's assets. So essentially bringing anything on chain that can, we want to do it. And I think a lot of people think of Avalabs and Avalanche as sort of the company that kicked off ecosystem-wide liquidity mining via Avalanche Rush about 2 years now. That was actually summer of 2021. And that was sort of just how we got our humble beginnings or seat at the table within larger L1 ecosystems. And then since then, we've really expanded to try and push into every vertical. And so we have teams that focus upon institutional capital markets, DeFi, NFTs, gaming, enterprise, exchanges and wallets, um, as well as looking to expand into more regional leads. So we have a head of Japan, a head of Korea, looking to hire a head of India, and a few other regional leads. So not only are we working in verticals, but also working in regions around the world in terms of business development. And that's just on the application layer front. I think on the platform layer, our goal is to essentially be the best and easiest to use network that's planning to scale via application specific blockchains or sovereign L1s in nature. And so I'm personally someone that subscribed to that thesis of scaling horizontally um, versus via rollups or vertically. And that's sort of why I joined Ava Labs a year and a half ago. Is there are only a few ecosystems that we're planning to scale that way and building out the tool set to scale that way. And Avalanche was one of them and had a super solid team, and it just made sense. I believe in the tech. Avalanche consensus is the best consensus mechanism, and it really helps to just build the tech from the consensus layer or the ground up, and then building on top of that. So that's a little bit about where we are, I guess, in terms of next platform or technical updates that should be expected. Avalanche Warp messaging will be going live sometime in the next few months, which is our native messaging layer, as well as we'll probably see improvements to the Hyper SDK and our first Elastic or permissionless validation subnet should also go live. So yeah, that's a little bit about what we've been up to, and I know I kind of said a lot there, but if you have any questions about specific parts, I can always expand in more granular detail.
Yeah, thanks. Now it's clear. Yeah, and how does our lab's ecosystem approach multi-chain or omni-chain models in crypto market development?
Yeah, so generally, I think we're pretty open to collaborating with other blockchains, as well as we're open to working with the kind of connection to those chains, meaning interchain messaging protocols. We're very, very close with the Layer Zero team, close with the Wormhole team, as well as working with basically every bridging provider, whether that be Axelar, Seller, Connects, Hop, that sort of thing. And so I think we do believe in at least a semi multi-chain world. I don't know if that'll be an oligopoly with 3 or 4 chains winning or 10 or 20 chains, but we want to be able to support kind of the future, and that does um, probably revolve around collaborating with other chains as well as ensuring we have connections to those chains.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, because I heard like we know some kind of change that they try to be, they not so open for other huge chains, and they try to be like a bit closer ecosystem. They focusing on first time blockchain startups without like any traction before and things like that. That's why we're asking. It's interesting, and yeah, you already divide some industry categories in terms of what are you focusing on Avalanche, but can you describe more details in terms of the stages of these companies? I mean, sometimes we know that the market condition is not so great right now, and usually it's really difficult for startups to show some like nice traction and to fundraise and things like that to make new partnerships. That's where the policy of blockchains is also changed. Maybe you can share a bit about this. Are you still focusing on early stage startups or not? Maybe you're focusing only on it, like already existing huge companies from tier 1, tier 2 segment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a good question. I think a lot of teams, especially base layers, as they've gotten bigger, they sort of forget about the small teams or the little guys within their ecosystem. And I actually think this is something that I pride our team on doing very well, is ensuring that no matter how big we get, we're always willing to take calls from whoever wants to reach out to us, from whoever wants to build here and help them in any capacity that we can. And so I will say, back before Avalanche Rush took place in early 2021. Not a lot of people knew what or who Avalanche was, and that really kickstarted our ecosystem, especially in terms of DeFi. So that was an ecosystem-wide liquidity mining effort in which it brought over blue chip DeFi protocols like Curve and Aave, Beefy Finance, a few others, and essentially applied token rewards to their DeFi protocols to essentially boost yields and therefore attracted many new users, a lot of capital in terms of TVL, that sort of thing. And from there, we've kind of grown in the verticals that I touched upon. So kind of parlayed into getting the most popular game or GameFi experience at the time, and that was in early 2022, which was called DeFi Kingdoms. And DeFi Kingdoms actually was one of the first subnets. Them and Krabata, those two were the first two live mainnet subnets here in Avalanche. And DeFi Kingdoms, their subnet's still doing over 1 million transactions a day. So it's very, very popular. And their team has just been absolutely killing it and building in the bear. And so now we've kind of built a arsenal of AAA games that should all be coming out in some sort of capacity, whether that be alpha or beta stage here in the next 6 months. And then from there, hopefully we can bring on the next 500,000 to 1 million gamers onto Avalanche. But in terms of NFTs, we've been working very heavily on an artist initiative or mentorship program called Avalanche, in which artists can come in and apply for that program, get matched with a mentor, kind of get a nice education into what it means to be a content creator or an artist or something else in that nature, and kind of how to frame themselves to be successful in that industry, as well as there's financial incentives attached as well. Kind of while we were on the topic of gaming, we also just announced the Arcade Initiative, which essentially is it's a group or a community of highly skilled teams within the gaming industry for Web3, that people who get accepted into the Arcade program can tap into their experience within, whether that be go-to-market strategy, tokenomics, kind of what works in terms of marketing, that sort of thing. In Web3. So that's super exciting, and that was just announced at 3XP. I guess in terms of the institutional front, our strategy in relation to institutional has kind of been revolving around permission subnets, or subnets that can abide by any sort of compliance, regulations, or really whatever a team might need to feel comfortable using blockchain technology. So that could be a fully permissioned validator set in which the permissioning is like only US validators that are large public companies, something like that. Or it could be even a certain state. It could be certain hardware requirements to make it a highly performant subnet, that sort of thing. And so those evergreen subnets, or kind of out of the box KYC or whatever a team might need, have been widely successful, and we've continued to push our institutional kind of initiatives with a center on evergreen subnets, especially Spruce Testnet, which will have some very marquee names involved. In terms of enterprise, I think we've taken a very methodical approach in terms of enterprise adoption, in which we haven't just been essentially giving out funny money to enterprises. We've been very good at, hey, will this enterprise partnership provide on-chain value? Will it bring new users to the chain? Will it bring transactions to the chain? Will it maybe bring some sort of like total value locked, or TVL, to the chain? And then based on that, make decisions that just make financial sense for both parties. Recently had a very successful subnet launch with SK Planet. SK is a large telecom company within Korea, and SK Planet subnet essentially has had over 75,000 unique KYC users register for their subnet, as well as about 50,000 to 100,000 transactions per day. And then in terms of exchanges and wallets, I think the goal there is to really just support every trusted venue in terms of exchanges and wallets to ensure better access to users. And I guess I'll throw out a final vertical that I've personally been excited and kind of working on is emerging markets. So I think people realize that the US might have regulation that might negatively impact adoption for blockchain and crypto technologies within the United States. And so I think it's important to kind of turn attention elsewhere, where there already is maybe favorable regulation, as well as a larger percentage of their population using crypto. So I think Latin America, Africa, APAC, Asia Pacific. I think those three markets in terms of emerging markets are super important to win and will very likely have the highest adoption of crypto as a percentage of their population within the next 5 years. I mean, Nigeria, I think I read a statistic that it's like over 40 or 50% of the population has either used or tried using blockchain technology in crypto. And so, I mean, as Nigeria grows as a country, I've seen population projections where it's going to be the third largest country by 2050. I think it's super important to have kind of ingrained community there, as well as good on-off ramps and protocols that might be designed specifically for their issues they have in Nigeria. So.
Yeah, I heard the same. I mean, we have like a lot of signals from our partners that signaling about LATAM market and actually Africa as well. And we heard a lot about Korea and gamify part of this. I mean, there is like a really strong gamify community, and there are a lot of games right now in development stage and things like that. Yeah, a lot of focusing on this stuff, these things. And maybe you heard about like know something about MENA region. What's going on here? Do you have a plans? I mean, Ava Labs have a plans about like MENA region. Maybe you have some people or team here. Yeah, or maybe I don't know. Maybe you don't have this kind of plans. Yeah, can you explain?
Sorry, what region?
MENA region, like Turkey, Middle East, yeah.
Yeah, Eastern Europe. Yeah, we actually our founder, Emin Günsir, our CEO, he's from
Oh,
Turkey. So we
oh,
have a very
yeah,
large presence in that region, and we have uh, business development people, technical people, community people, especially oriented within the Turkish community. And so yeah, we definitely have huge plans. Our kind of one of our co-founders, his name is Kevin Seknicki. He's our CEO currently. He's from Armenia, and so definitely have a strong presence in Eastern Europe, and it's important to onboard as much of their community as possible. I mean, the Turkish lira has gone kind of
yeah,
down annually or depreciated in value, and I think a lot of their community uses Tether at this point in time to sort of preserve their wealth. And I really enjoy what Tether has done in terms of, all right, the US might not be favorable in terms of stablecoins, but there are people outside the US that need stablecoins much worse than those inside the US, and they need a life raft or a way to get access to digital dollars. And so Tether has focused on getting their stablecoin adopted within regions that just need it in nature. And so, yeah, I think that kind of aligns with my own viewpoint, and hopefully Tether and us can continue to work together, especially in emerging markets. So.
yeah, 100%. And it's as I know in Turkey, it's like a lot of people are involved in crypto. I mean, it's absolutely crazy numbers, like 15 or 17% of the whole population of Turkey. They have crypto wallets, or they make transaction, or they have NFT or things like that. It sounds amazing. Yeah, and I have like a few questions for related for early stage startups and our labs, for example. Uh, is there like, I don't know, the best way for early stage startups to get noticed by our labs? Or yeah, maybe you can explain like the best way to connect with the team, or yeah, because or every try to because sometimes the onboarding process to blockchain is not clear, and usually you always looking for some people to get some support to be like the gateway for Web3 sometimes. And we know that the capacity of teams inside the blockchains is not limit. It's limited, of course, and yeah, how to be connected with the Ava Labs? What the best way for early stage founders?
Yeah, so I actually would say we do very well in being open to taking a call with whoever and just being community driven. So we actually do weekly Twitter Spaces on Thursdays, and I believe it's at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Actually, let me double check. It might be 11 a.m. Eastern.
Mhm.
I have it on my calendar. It is, yeah, it's 12 p.m. Eastern. Every Thursday, in which it's purely community oriented. So anyone that has a question or just wants to kind of express to us what they're working on can come up, be a speaker, and speak directly to us. Generally, there is a business development person or two that attends those weekly Twitter spaces, as well as a social media marketing manager. Um, Also, I would say if anyone wants to get in touch with us and just have like a one-on-one call, we are all more than willing to do that. So anyone that messages me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, really any venue, my email, I send them over a Calendly link, and I'm more than willing to hop on a call with them, explain to them what Avalanche is, educate them, that sort of thing. We also have a variety of initiatives, like I touched upon, that all have application links generally directly built in to those websites. And so people can fill in those application links, and we can then make decisions on how we might be able to financially support or help regarding like strategy or BD or marketing support those projects as well. And so really, it's not a question about like how, it's just about doing it, because we're more than willing to take a call or figure out ways of collaboration with just about anyone. That the main requirements we have, at least in terms of marketing support, is generally been, hey, like we want to market with whoever, but the team has to be doxed us, and so we know that they're hopefully going to be good actors within the space, and the protocol has to be audited once or twice by a trusted um, auditor. And so that's kind of where we're at in terms of marketing, just because
Mhm.
we want to protect our own community and users first as well. So we don't want to be promoting something that is later going to be nefarious in nature. So.
Yeah, marketing, it's a huge pain, and yeah, and usually this is like it's few weaknesses statistically we have on a founder side. It's marketing and business development stuff. And sometimes the marketing support is even more important than, like, the small ground support from the founders, for founders and startups, for example. Yeah, like 10K or 25K or 50K dollars from the blockchains, maybe not so really, like, I don't know, great, if we're talking about like possibilities to get 1 million people and cover by, I don't know, different AMA sessions or different marketing support. And this is absolutely like clear why you like have this kind of like conditions to have different like marketing campaigns with the founders and early startups, of course. And yeah, and but do you have right now grant support for early stage startups? I know that in different blockchains they have like some kind of different problem with the grant programs due to like absolutely different reasons. And so part of this reason it's goes from the bear market, but sometimes it's because the grant program is designed not pretty transparent and clear. Yeah, can you share about your grant program? Is it available right now for founders, and maybe like some like conditions that you have?
Yeah, so we do grants, and those are generally done through the foundation. We also can do investments through the foundation and our early ecosystem fund, which is called Blizzard. Those investments can be safes, SAFs, hybrid
Hmm.
models, that sort of thing. In terms of grants, grants can be done a variety of ways, whether they're kind of being tailored towards liquidity provisioning or liquidity mining or something of that nature to help um, aid in like the next stage of adoption for a protocol within our ecosystem, or apply user incentives to a game to help the game grow, or something of that nature, as well as we reserve kind of early stage grants towards educational opportunities, not for profit, small teams and founders that might just have an idea or like a few slides of a pitch deck or a 1 or 2 page white paper that they're just trying to get off the ground and figure out how to go full time into crypto or Web3 or build a successful protocol. So mostly done on like a one-off basis in which we size up every deal and not every deal, sorry, every grant, and ensure it makes sense and kind of fits our initiatives. And that's kind of goes through a whole due diligence process in which we look at what a person or team might be trying to build, whether it's feasible, maybe their background in certain cases, that sort of thing. So still definitely doing grants as well as investments here.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, and if you have a grant support from Avalanche ecosystem, it's easy to be, I don't know, be on the loop with your foundation, and like opportunities to receive funds from them is like a bit higher. Yeah. And can you maybe give some range in terms of the first check from foundation? Do you have this kind of numbers? Or yeah, if you have this kind of
Yeah.
numbers for per seed stage, for
Yes.
example. Yeah.
Yeah, so the range is actually pretty large. It can be very small in nature if it's a
Hmm.
new team or project that doesn't need a lot of money, or it can be bigger. I'd say bigger check sizes are generally reserved um, for investment or some other user-based incentives, but really there's no cookie cutter or template model that we have to abide by. So really can fit within the whole range.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and finally, just maybe you can give some advice for early stage founders who are thinking about going to Web3, or maybe already they have a Web2 companies and they want to make transition. Yeah, maybe yeah, you can share some valuable thoughts how to survive a new
Yeah.
condition.
Exactly. No, I mean, I think the best advice I have is not to join the industry and join AI. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, no, but AI is a hot area. No, honestly, I think it's all about perseverance and maintaining a positive attitude and just continuing to build during the bear. I think a lot of teams they get too focused on the current user base, and instead you should be building for the future user base. Right now, the amount of unique users that use blockchains, it's not a very large number. I'd probably estimate it between 500,000 and 1 million users daily, and kind of all crypto that use most of these permissionless blockchains. And so I think it's figuring out what the next big trend will be, or figuring out how to be the next big trend yourselves, how to bring in retail, how to bring in your family, your friends. And so they feel comfortable using blockchain technology. So I think that's something that people get strung up upon. Oh my goodness, I can't get any traction in the current market. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
that's just the way it might be. And it's better to sometimes build 6 months, a year in advance for what's going to happen. There hasn't been that many new users in terms of blockchain coming in the past year and a half as we've went deeper into the bear market. And I think blockchain and crypto has generally been revolving around boom and bust or hype cycles. And we need to kind of transition to being more mature, in which there are great use cases that strip away or abstract the blockchain elements out of them, and therefore kind of are a staple within people's everyday lives without even knowing it. So that's a little bit of advice I have, and I know it's kind of grandiose, but I think that's where we're at. And yeah, just keep building. And if if anyone ever needs to vent or needs someone to hear them out in terms of if they're struggling, feel free to hit me up and we can always schedule a call or just have back and forth messages of some sort. So it was really great speaking with you today.
Yes, that sounds great. Great advice. And hey guys, if you have a question, just call Matthew. He'll help. Thanks a lot. It's a huge challenge for the next decade about like acquisition of Web2 users to Web3, and yeah, everybody. I think everybody working right now to solving this question. Yeah, hope we will succeed. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your time. It was so pleasure to talk with you. I hope to see you personally soon.
Yeah, thank you as well. And hopefully you have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.
Have a good one.
Yeah.